Geetanjali Shree's Tomb of Sand has created history by becoming the first novel in an Indian language to win the International Booker Prize. The jury described it as a masterclass in exploring identity, imbued with a passion and power which the world could do with right now. Geetanjali Shree shares the International Booker Prize with her translator, Daisy Rockwell, and it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to both these incredible women. Many, many congratulations.
Thank you.
Geetanjali Shree, Tomb of Sand is being described in so many ways as a partition novel, a feminist fable, a stream of consciousness novel. How would you categorize it, and what does winning the International Booker mean?
I don't want to categorize it at all. I think it's all those things and many more things, and that is hopefully what makes it something enjoyable and something worthwhile. About the Booker, it's wonderful. I mean, it's a huge recognition. I don't think we were at all prepared for this. We never imagined that this was going to happen, and slowly and surely it kept getting better and better. The book was on the long list and then the short list, and then yesterday what happened, and we are in a state of beautiful shock and still taking it in. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful recognition for this book, for Daisy's translation, the English incarnation of it, but also for literature in Hindi and in other Indian languages and South Asian languages.
Yes, indeed, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But Daisy, you've designed this gorgeous cover as well, apart from translating the book, and you began as an artist, signing your works as Patau, the missing. So tell us a little about that. Why Patau, and when and where did you learn to read, write, and speak in Hindi?
So those are all different questions, but I started studying Hindi in college. So when I was around 19 years old, and visited India several times and was in different programs, so learned how to speak and read well enough to read literature. And the Patau part has to do with the fact that I did a PhD in South Asian literature, and I was an academic for about 15 years, and I suddenly decided it wasn't for me, and I left. I wanted to do more creative work, and but I kind of wanted to be free of everything, so, of my past career. So I created what in Urdu is called a takhalus, which is Patau, and I signed my paintings with it in Urdu. So I was sort of missing from my career, and eventually that became my career, the place where I had gone off to missing.
Mm-hmm. Right. So Hindi, Urdu, you straddle many worlds, many languages also. But Geetanjali Shree, this award comes at a time when there are all these raging debates here in India on language imposition. You write in Hindi, but you've talked very movingly in your acceptance speech about the rich literary traditions of all South Asian languages. So how do you feel about the language debate?
Well, I think a lot of it is politically created and completely unnecessary. We are a multilingual nation, and I think human beings are capable of learning more than one language. So I don't see what the problem is. I mean, we are a country with so many languages. Why can't all of us learn more than one language and live bilingually and multilingually, as indeed a lot of us, I think, did? Why is there today this need for one single language, whatever that be? So I do think that there has to be recognition of all the national languages and of the equality of languages and the richness of languages. And we should learn at least 2 languages, I feel. But that's a political debate. I mean, I don't want to speak just now too much about it. Right. I'm very tired.
Fair enough. Well, Daisy, you've translated, among other things, Bhisham Sahani's Tamas, but you say Tomb of Sand or Eight Samadhi was actually the most difficult work you've ever translated. Why was that?
Because there's a lot of experimentation with language and wordplay, and also an experimental approach to plot and really everything about it. So nothing was straightforward. Something like Thomas is written almost in the style of, journalistic writing. It's very clear, one thing leading to another and so on. So it's not that it was easy to translate, but I found it much more straightforward of a task than Tomb of Sandwich was very difficult.
And Geetanjali Shree, given the fact that you were in New Delhi and Daisy was in Vermont, what sort of, and it was all long distance through the pandemic, what conversations would we have overheard between the two of you while this collaborative process was taking place?
Well, on very, very detailed conversations about the context of certain things which would be written in the book, about language, about the choice of certain words, like Daisy wanted tomb on the title, and my title was Samadhi, and we talked about that. I mean, how is Samadhi to be rendered into English, and how would tomb retain that quality and not destroy it? So we had conversations about language, about the facts, about the way the story, narrative was going, all kinds of very detailed conversations. And I think we interacted so much and for such a long time. I mean, so intensely, I think, that finally when we met just a few days ago in London, we felt we had known each other forever.
That's right.
Daisy, how do you respond to critics who say translations can never really tap into the essence of a story, or, for instance, those who say English translations represent a Western gaze on India? As someone who sort of lived and breathed Hindi and Urdu, do you have a different take on this?
I think translation has been going on between languages ever since there's been more than one language. And so I understand the inequality between English and various Indian language and the colonial legacy. But at the same time, that colonial legacy makes it so that there are many people, even within India, who can't access so many different stories in different languages, and they need and rely on translation if they want access to those things. So I like to think that my translations serve also as an invitation to people who feel estranged from Hindi or from Urdu to, give it a try, to look at them side by side, to come back, to consider what they've lost and to try to find it again.
Geetanjali Shree, from Mai to Ret Samadhi, your works have articulated the voices of women. So who were the women who left the biggest imprint on your life? And do any personal stories feature in your work?
Personal stories, certainly, but not as biography or autobiography. Personal stories come with many, many other things. They come with my imagination. They come with my with the observation of lots of things around me. They come with osmosis, where sometimes I don't even know where I'm picking up things from. So all different elements come together, and these personal stories become fictional stories. And you can't, they have so many strands in them that you can't really start sifting those and saying this is fiction, this is fact. I mean, it's just some other entity. I've forgotten what your second question was.
Well, no, that was really the question. Whether
you said from my to
from your life,
women.
Life.
Yeah. So of course, I think women play a big role in all our lives, not just mine. I mean, I think, in fact, women are often underrated. They are not seen as much as they should be. They are often behind the scenes, and women are very important in our lives. So, of course, there have been women. But I do want to say that my work from Mai to Ret Samadhi is not only women-centric.
Right.
I mean, I have important other kinds of characters also, and male characters also.
And of course, you write on sort of critical...
Main protagonists.
Yes, and you also write on critical political themes as well. But when you talk about partition, it's a very nuanced idea of what is beyond the border. You say Pakistan is not far away, we're removed from it. Would you say now more so than ever?
Yeah, I think it's become a very fraught issue. It's it was supposed to be a certain kind of political solution, not meant to just divide people and divide their hearts. And I think it has been doing that. And one of the sad things a lot of people, derived or deduced from that was that Hindus and Muslims cannot live together, and that is why partition is necessary. That is an ideology which is in different ways being promoted today, and therefore partition continues to play such a role in our lives.
One last question, and Daisy, if you would like to answer this, is this the beginning of a long and beautiful partnership?
Well, we hope so, right?
Certainly. I do certainly think so, yes.
Yes.
All right, we look forward to many more wonderful works from both of you. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Yeah, thank you.